foremost, we give all praises and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem, Yahushua, B'Shem, Rakadash, response to the apostles, GMS, Ruel, shalom to the faithful men that's always continually doing the work of the Lord. Lord willing, I'm watching GMS Iowa again, and I know I made a video response a couple of days ago, but I ended up watching them again today, and I was like, just listen to Shalakia. And what's it called? They rebuking some young dudes or some shit. I forgot who the fuck they was. But yeah, it just remind me, the scriptures where it says, these people that don't know shit, they will think that they know more than a brother that actually have been laboring, like the elder Matafia was saying. We actually put work in. We actually deny ourselves. Some brothers stay up late. You know what I mean? Studying one topic for hours, man, like a fucking madman. Getting ready for a class, or getting ready for a lesson, or just studying in general. You know what I'm saying? Brothers out there teaching the word in the cold and the hot, all that. We forsaken ourselves. We forsaken the own comfort of our own home. It's the winter now, so it's like, you got the heat, fireplace, whatever you want, be warmed up, cozy. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucking rub your feet together with them socks. You know what I mean? You see, you got some, you comfortable. You laid up with your little lady and shit. She all warm and shit. But brothers go out there and do the work any damn way. But you will have niggas that have no type of camp experience, have no type of, can't even read the Hebrew. You know what I'm saying? Got no nothing. And then they will try to tell us that we going off. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. Proverbs 26:16. The sluggard is wiser in his own conceit than 7 men that can render a reason. Right, a sluggard, he's wiser. He think he got more answers than a man. What it say? Than 7 men that can render a reason. You know what I mean? And it's like, that's just pride, man. It's pride, and it's who was that? It was some that dude that came up to GMS Dallas. He was a novice. He didn't even know what the fuck he even believed. But you got guys like that. Alright, what was that? 16? Let me see. I'm gonna see this in a different translation real quick. Oh, I'm tripping. 26. The lazy person buries his hand in it. My fault. 16. The lazy person is wiser in his own eyes than 7 sensible men who can give a discreet answer. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's a shame. But we gotta endure such niggas like that. That's the type of niggas that we gotta deal with. You see that all the time at camp. A sluggard is wiser in his own eyes, it's the NLT, than 7 people who answer discreetly. Alright? But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? Like these, and this is something I noticed too. Like it'll be certain guys that have been in it for a long time, and it's weird too. I've known at least 2. I met at least 2 that knew the truth since 2014. That's just how long I've been in the truth. You know what I'm saying? But these guys is like, what the fuck was you doing this whole time? Like, literally, what the fuck was you doing this whole time? That's over 10 years, dude. What are you doing? You just now trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? I noticed, like, you know, I'm pretty sure not all type of guys that be doing that. Because, you know, everybody got different stories. There might be a brother that's in his truth right now that been bullshitting for a long time and finally, all right, let me get my shit together. I know there's stories like that. But I noticed them dudes that be knowing the truth for years and years and years, and they just now really starting to try to come into the fold. Like, them dudes it be something off about them, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I ain't saying every single one of them type dudes, but it be like that, man. It be like something wrong with them, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, it's just weird, man. Like, it's just this is that sluggish spirit, man. That sluggish spirit. You know, but you gonna deal with all kinds of bullshit, man, in this truth, man. You gonna deal with guys that are sluggish, lazy motherfuckers that you know what I'm saying, that haven't been doing shit for a very long time and then finally want to do something. And then when they so-called finally want to do something, really they bullshitting. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? Then you got, you know, guys that, I remember one time this dude, he tried to come into the camp. Same thing, same year. He knew the truth since he was 2014. I remember, like, I seen him on the internet and shit, and I took one, and you know, the brother that used to be in his camp, went over there to go visit him to see, just to test him out, see what's up with him real quick. And at this point, I was a lot younger, which I should have seen, but I didn't really seen it. But now I know if I encounter a brother like that again, I'll be like, nah, this nigga off. But I remember when he was talking to him, it was just all about him. He just me, I. He just, you know what I mean? He just had an off-ass spirit, man. He just a little weird nigga. He look weird too. Just one crazy, he like a crazy motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? Then he came to camp one time. I remember he just got on this side with us. I'm the only one like looking like, what the fuck? I'm kind of looking left to the right, and I'm like, nah, you gotta go back on the other side. You know what I'm saying? And, you know what I mean? He got back on the other side, and then he talked with us for a little, not talk, but, you know what I mean? The only thing he really did was like read one scripture, you know what I mean? But you know, he's out there with us one time, and then afterwards, he I can't remember if he called me or we talked at camp, some shit, but he was salty about it. He was like, man, I should be on the other side, man. Yeah. And it's like, man, what the fuck? And you know, the dude never came back. You know what I'm saying? Nigga proud as hell, man. But it's like, nigga, where the fuck have you been, though? You can't just, I don't give a fuck if you've been in this truth since 2001. And you ain't been doing, nobody knows you. You have no works, you have no videos, you have no, you haven't been on the streets. You don't have, so you really have no experience. You believe, but you don't have no work. You have no resume. You have nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, but this nigga, he try to be proud and try to be like, he think he gonna just be in the camp automatically. Like, nah. That's why we gotta test and try, brothers. Because you got the majority of the people that believe in this truth, man, they, or that believe in the scriptures, I should say, they niggas be off, man. Niggas be off. They got their own they might have their own motive. They might not really truly believe, whatever it may be. It's a lot of different shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why you gotta be careful. Alright? Let me see. Let me see. Yep. Let me get this too real quick. Cause this goes into like friends, right? In which, matter of fact, let me start up. Sirach 6 and 6. It says, be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. Right, so be in peace with many, but your counselor should be one of 1,000. You know what I'm saying? Because we only deal with the brothers, man. That's our counselor. That's truth, the scriptures. We got one doctrine, one faith, and one brotherhood, man. We ain't dealing with all that mix and mingle. That's nothing. You gonna deal with niggas like that like to mix doctrines and like to listen to multiple different camps, man. Them niggas be off too. I seen that personally too with my brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law. Because we heard the truth at the same time. We was there at the same day. And this nigga, he's so called in the truth. But he never really, I was out there doing the work. I was out there every week. You know what I'm saying? He was bullshitting. I believe he lived with us at that time. But he wasn't showing up. He showed up like every once in a while, man. You know what I'm saying? He was more focused on getting multiple wives. See, that's nothing. You gotta have niggas like that too. That ain't the truth just because it says you can have multiple wives. And that was his main focus. That and watching videos where niggas was cussing out other niggas. So it's just entertainment purposes and it's just pleasure. So you can watch it for your entertainment, and you can watch it so you can get multiple wives. Just a side note, a lot of these damn women that know they're Israelites, man, them bitches are crazy, man. I seen that firsthand with the women that he dealt with. You know what I'm saying? One was because he moved to like Florida. He moved whatever the fuck, man. I think he had kids with them and had a house, whatever. This bitch went crazy. They had a fight. I guess they both broke each other bones and shit. The bitch turned to witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? And I remember too, he was talking to her on the phone. And then he was like, you know what I'm saying? He was just like, he was kind of like showing off. He was like, hey, tell him what's the name of the Lord. And she was about to say, like, it sounded like she was about to say Yahweh or some shit. But then she like, Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? And then so I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, whatever, I'm cool. And then I think he started talking about multiple wives or whatever. But then eventually, pretty much the bitch ended up snitching on him to my sister about him having about the multiple wives situation. And then she turned to witchcraft and they fought, beat each other's ass. It's just crazy, man. You gotta be careful of guys like that and girls like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of from all over the damn place, but that's just you got guys and especially fucking women in this truth that is not right. And matter of fact, I was going to make a video on that too. So I got so much going on in my mind. I don't want to be all over the place. I want to kind of be more Salaki if I am. But matter of fact, yeah, fuck it, man. Cause hey, the Apostle Tahar, sometimes he be all over the place sometimes. Not all over the place, but he be talking about multiple topics. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna flow with it. The spirit do what the spirit do. But I'm gonna show this quick clip real quick.
Does anyone have an opening scripture?
I do. So Proverbs 18:22 says, he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Amen.
Right, so it's a skit, right? It says your church crush comes to Bible study. This guy named Tyrone Brook 56, whatever. He made this thing. You know what I'm saying? It says, brothers, the cheat code is pulling up to Bible study. Thank me later, right? So you got guys like that in the truth. And it be them damn chunky niggas too, man. Oh, both. But it's like he's not worried about the truth. He, that's a fly ass jacket, but he ain't worried about the truth. He over here worried about this damn bitch. That's why we don't have women in our churches and all that. Cause niggas, look at these niggas, man, together with Christ and shit. Look at this shit, man. Niggas is just in it for entertainment and pleasure purposes, man. You know, these dudes ain't right. But it says, and that's how he was, man. He you know, I could tell. He you know, that's why I didn't really take him too serious, because he never really came to camp. You know what I'm saying? That's why he never was able to cross. You know what I mean? He watched videos for entertainment where there's always some argument or some shit like that. And he always worried about, I remember we was at camp, and this is the day he came out, but he's always on the other side. And then he was no, we was teaching, and this little nigger shit, she came up and she asked a question, and then whatever, then she was like, okay, whatever, then she just left. And then dude, he kept trying to teach her and shit, so he went up and he followed her up the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I remember I was like, what the fuck? I was wooed, like wow, like you really just did that, bro? You just left your post? You know, he wasn't part of the camp, but still, like, you gonna leave the camp to go talk to this bitch? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, man, but you got niggas like this, man. You got men pleasers, you got women pleasers, you got pleasure lovers of themselves. You got niggas that's just crazy. I remember this nigga that was in this camp, man. And it's funny too, cause me and the other brother, we knew him. Like, he used to, like, when growing up, I used to knew his kids. I barely remembered them really, but he knew my mom, and I guess he babysitted me and shit. And I knew his kids. I guess I played football with them or something. I really don't remember this nigga, but I know I talked to my mom about him. She said she remember him and all that. But I remember one time, man, and it was weird too, man. That's why the previous camp, but this camp, man, this shit wasn't right, man. Cause they pretty much let this nigga in. He came in we seen this nigga 2 times. The first time, he just like agreed, he stopped and agreed with us or something. And he was like, yeah, Con, okay, Con, you know, yeah, you know, I think we fist pumped each other, whatever, you know, we got a brother, he tell he knew about the Israelite thing. And then the second time he came, and I think one of the brothers stopped him. I think he was gonna keep walking, if I'm not mistaken. But then he, you know, and then the brother, I think either that day or maybe it was a third time, he just gave him a fucking garment. Like, what the fuck? Like, he just came into the camp quick as hell, man. And then and I believe, now I remember, the first 2 times that he stopped, he didn't stop on his own. Somebody said something to him. So it's not like he didn't really want to do it any fucking way. But then he over here teaching with us for a little bit, maybe for a couple months. You know what I'm saying? And I remember we went to his house and shit and chilled. Cause the other brother, I guess they was cousins, or he said he was, whatever the fuck. And it was me and this brother, we chilling with this dude. And I remember he had a little niece. He lived with his sister and shit. He had a little niece or whatever the case is. And she was, man, I mean, god damn. I was young at that time too. But I think I was maybe almost 18. And she was like a little bit younger. Or I might have been like 18. So it was like, you know, low key, you know. But she claimed up. And I remember I was just expressing, like, you know, hey, you know. And I wasn't being rude or disrespectful. I was just expressing to him, like, I forgot what I was saying. I think I might have asked him or about her or whatever. And he was like, man, what if I bust this bottle open and, you know, and cut you or something? I'm like, and really at that point, see, man, but at that point, we really should have cussed that nigga the fuck out. And really just like, nah, nigga, you ain't coming back. Fuck that. If I seen that shit, if I see that shit today in this camp, I'm automatically kicking your ass out, man. You won't ever threaten a brother's life. Fuck wrong with you, man? You know? But he still was there. And then I remember I think another time we was chilling, this nigga talking about, you know, when the shit hit the fan, the tanks coming in, and then you know, I know how to take off the what's that shit called? You know, the tank, the little thing that it make it rolling and whatever, like the wheels, that thing, whatever. It's not, you know what the fuck I'm talking about, man. He's like, yeah, I know how to do it. You just use a car jack and you take it, and then it makes the things fall off, and then it won't make it, then it won't drive. And it was just like, what the fuck? And then I think he also mentioned about attacking the church and shit. That's what I'm saying, man. These niggas ain't right. I'm just, you know, it's like I'm all over the place, but I'm just giving different examples, just off what I personally seen, and you know, and all that good stuff where niggas just ain't right. That's why, man, you know, we gotta, hey, my family, read it. Sirach 6 and 7. If thou wouldest get a friend, prove him first, and be not hasty to credit him. Right. So if you gonna get a friend, okay, you gonna have to prove him first. And how do you prove him? You prove him by, you know, having him on the other side. You know what I'm saying? See if he comes to camp, he's studying, he got notes, he coming every single week, you know, unless it's an emergency, maybe, you know. But he, you know what I mean? He doing what he's doing, he's studying, he's listening, he's asking questions. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, you know, as time go past, you know, you might, you know, bring him to the class, whatever. And then, you know, whatever, so on and so forth, his steps, and then eventually he can get on the other side. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you got to do, man. But I seen with this camp, you know, with previous, because this camp now, I believe is better, you know what I mean? We ain't just letting any fucking body in. But the previous camp, you know what I mean, where I seen everybody fall off or go somewhere else, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because it just wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? And I think the only thing that held me together, which obviously was my faith in the Lord, but was just going to Cleveland, really. Because I went to Cleveland a lot. Because that's the actual camp, established camp, you know what I mean? But this camp wasn't established. It was a little too, little too loose, man. Really wasn't no order. You know what I'm saying? And there was guys that was coming to this camp too damn early. Even me, like I'll admit it. Like they gave me a garment quick as fuck. You know what I'm saying? They should have waited at least a few more, you know, longer. You know, but I seen guys that came to this camp. He came out to the it's ridiculous, man. It's too quick. You know, you gotta prove your fan first. You can't just hastily credit him just because a nigga oh yeah, hey, Shalom, hey, yeah, hey, y'all brothers. Hey. That doesn't mean that nigga in the truth, man. All right, because then you got cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? All right. It says, for some man is a friend for his own occasion and will not abide in a day of thy trouble. Right, I seen that too. I seen a guy that came. I don't think he ever crossed, but he was on the other side. He used to come for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga, I remember he was like, I remember his name was James. He was like, man, you know, ever since I've been teaching the name of Yahweh Shah, I've been getting persecuted. I'm going to go back to Jesus pretty much. You know what I'm saying? You know? It says, and if there is a friend who is being turned to enmity and strive will discover thy reproach. Again, there's guys like that too, that will, when shit go down, they might try to expose your secrets and, you know what I mean, shit like that. And, you know, just niggas are off, man. And I seen that I ain't seen that personally, you know what I'm saying, in this camp, whatever the case is, but I seen that in other camps, you know, niggas talking shit against brothers and, you know, that show hospitality and all that, man. It's just wild, man. It says, again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue the day of thy affliction. But in thy prosperity he will be as thyself, and will be bold over thy servants. if thou be brought low, he would be against thee, and will hide himself from thy face. Right? So in prosperity, he would be as thyself and would be bold over thy servants. And you gotta think, man, a lot of these niggas that's been in this truth and been in the camps, especially when shit gets really, really get gruesome and the shit really official, really, really shit hit the fan, you gotta realize, man, some of these guys gonna try to come back. You know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes gonna try to come back. And you might get soft hearted. You know, trust me, I don't want to speak too much on that. You know what I'm saying? Because, that situation, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But, you know, that's how it happens. Somebody might try to come back. And matter of fact, I knew another nigga that came back. This dude, his name was Dave. That was it, Dave. He ain't had no fucking Hebrew name. But this nigga, bro, uh uh he was in the truth before I was, and he fell off or got kicked out, whatever, before I came in. And it been a couple years, then he came back or whatever. And I remember I was like, man, wait, nah, you can't do that. Cause I was kind of wrong, cause there is guys that fell off and came back, but that is very, I mean very few. Because the Lord ain't dealing with that really. Because when the Lord take his Holy Spirit from you, you ain't getting that back. You know what I'm saying? But I remember that's why I was expressing. I was like, nah, like what? Why is he coming back? Like, nah, like what? And I remember that's the only time I really got like kind of mouthy a little bit to the ex-head. Like I wasn't like being disrespectful, but I was kind of like, but what about, but you know what I'm saying? And then he was like, hey, I'm telling you one more time, and he pretty much was like, hey man, chill out. I'm gonna bring him back. It is what it is. And I was like, all right, fine, cut, just following orders, just whatever. And then, he came back, whatever, and then dude was actually kind of cool, but he was off as fuck. And man, I remember I used to give him a ride because he kind of lives close. And and like I said, man, at that time, bro, there was no order like that in the camp. I mean, if Jake watched the testimony of the camp, you'll kind of know, you get the idea. I remember I picked this nigga up one time, man. I ain't gonna lie. I went inside and shit, waiting for this nigga to come. And then I think he lived with his cousin or some shit. The nigga passed him a blunt, and he was like, "What the?" Nigga hit that shit, bro. I was like, damn, bro. I'm ashamed, bro. I really should have like cussed his ass out, said something, but I actually didn't. You know what I'm saying? I seen at least. Man, that's fucked up. I feel bad even saying that, bro. To be honest, because I should have said something. I seen two people smoke before. They both not in the truth no more. So you know what I'm saying. So may the Lord destroy them both. But you know what I'm saying. But yeah, but this dude, but he was off, man. He wasn't doing no work. You know what I'm saying? Nigga called me early as fuck, like 5 o'clock in the morning to make a video. I'm like, what the fuck? Nigga couldn't make a video by himself, and it was just like, god damn. But then eventually, this nigga he got himself a little girlfriend, a little white girl and shit. And then that's when he stopped coming out. And I seen this in this camp like 4 or 5 fucking times, man, where they just disappear. They don't show up to camp. It's camp day. They just don't show up. They don't text you. They don't call you. And then you gotta text this nigga like, "What's up?" And he's, "Oh yeah, come pick me up." Now I remember too, I casted a lot, and a lot said, "Don't get him." But then he responded like, "Yeah, you can come get me." Then I was like, "Man, fuck! I already told him I could come get him." so that I went against the lot. See, nah, it's just lessons learned. I wasn't perfect. I'm never perfect, but I went all the way the fuck out there, man, to pick this nigga up. He sent me the wrong fucking address. It was like the address to like a goddamn gas station. And then I came back and I was late to camp and everything. I was like, man, I was mad as fuck. But I should have listened to that lot. You know what I'm saying? But that's another type of nigga right there. Just to show you, niggas, some niggas gonna try to come back. And hey, some people, the Lord gonna show mercy too. But again, you gotta prove your friend. If they try to come back and act like nothing happened, or I believe but you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying. Why'd you leave? Who are you? What you been doing since you left? You ain't gonna just you can't just be accepted back. And that's what the ex, rulership pretty much of this camp did. He didn't test him. He didn't put him on the other side for a couple months at least. He just gave him his garment and he's right back into the fucking show. Like, nah, that's not the way you should do it. All right. It says, separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends' rights. That's what we got to do, man. And this word separate us from our enemies, because you start, especially if you rebuke a brother, because then, you can know if a brother is a true brother if you rebuke him. I think that's one of the greatest ways you can tell if a brother is a brother, if how he receive rebuke. You know what I'm saying? And if he can give rebuke, you gotta be able to give rebuke, and you gotta be able to receive rebuke, because both really is uncomfortable. If you rebuke somebody, you got thoughts in your head like, damn, I don't want to be an asshole. I don't want this person to think I'm nitpicking. You know what I mean? You got them thoughts in your head. Then if you get rebuked, that shit can be uncomfortable, because it's like, damn, you know what I mean? But we gotta be used to that uncomfortability, man. Cause that's just what it is in this truth, man. That's what being a man is. And if a nigga can't give rebuke, then he's off, because then he's like what's that priest Eli that didn't rebuke his sons, the Lord killed him. And if he can't receive rebuke, then that's especially a wicked ass nigga. You know what I mean? He getting the Lord said, what? Blessed is he that's not offended in me. Yahweh Shah rebuked his disciples many times. He called Peter Satan. You know what I'm saying? Rebuked him, sharply. I'm pretty sure Peter was like, damn, like, yo, he's, hey, get behind me, Satan. Like, I'm pretty sure he was petrified, like, oh, shit. And he probably just shut his fucking mouth, like, oh. So like it. You know what I'm saying? All right? But it says, and take heed of thy friends. That's what we got to do in this truth, man. We got to take heed of each other, and that's a video, too. I'm planning on making, because this is a business. This is a family business, you know what I mean? Because we are a family, we are a brotherhood, our father Yahweh, you know what I'm saying? And Yahweh Shai, the angels are brethren too, so on and so forth, But it's also but first and foremost is a business. It's business before pleasure. You know what I'm saying? So it's a family business. A lot of these different family businesses, you see, it can fail because they think it's family, so now I'm gonna get lax, but nah. You supposed to rebuke your family, your brother. Even though even if a brother that you really like, you might be really close to this brother. But if he going off, you gotta rebuke him. You gotta tell him. And that feels uncomfortable sometimes, but you gotta do it. Alright? And that's just what being a fucking man. That's why this Bible is a book of it's a manly book. You know what I'm saying? Because you gotta be honest. At the end of the day, you gotta be honest. Not holding grudges. Even, you know what I mean? Sometimes you be having thoughts in your head against a brother, and it's like, sometimes you might be like, man, it's not that big of a deal. You kind of downplay it or whatever, like, it's not that big of a deal. And then the thoughts kind of just keep coming, and then it start making you think a certain way towards his brother. Like, nah, I don't. I remember I had that with one brother. You know what I'm saying? Because at first I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it is kind of like, all right, brother, like, goddamn. But it's not that big of a deal. Let me just leave it alone. And I just let the brother do what he do. He gonna keep doing it. And then I started getting really annoyed, like, all right, bro. And I started, like, feeling some type of way. I'm like, all right, I don't want to start having these feelings, escalate to till a point where it comes out the way I don't want it to come out. And that's another thing. There's another example. When you see around brothers, you will see a brother that I seen this, in the old camp, pretty much. The old members, where in which, the guy, he pretty much, he told me he repented of it, but I'm just using it as an example, where holding grudges and shit like that, especially speaking to other brothers and talking about other brothers in front, all that bullshit, but, I seen where a brother was angry towards another brother, and he told me, but he won't tell him, even though I told him to go tell him, but he wouldn't, and I seen it just pile up, keep piling up, you know what I'm saying, and it came out the way that it shouldn't come out. It came out disorderly, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm big on that too. I'm big on not holding grudges, because I seen it. I seen it with my own eyes, where I knew somebody was mad at somebody, and they, they holding it in, they holding it in, they keep holding it in, and to the point where that anger and frustration is too much. So now it comes out the way that they don't want it to come out. That's why when you have a problem with a brother, you should tell them now, then and now, or at least, like, maybe if y'all somewhere, you might want to be like, let me wait till we, just me and him. I like to do that sometimes too. I don't like to just say something in front of everybody. Some things you got to do in private, like the Lord said in Matthew 18. But don't wait. Do not linger, bro. Don't let the shit keep piling up, because it will come out a way that you do not want it to come out. But you might as well do it now while you're you in your sense. You know what I mean? You can control your emotions. You ain't all angry and all that. You might as well just say it now, especially before it grows and gets worse. And you know what I mean? Because even then, because a brother might not even know he's going off. A brother might be doing something that he don't even know that's irritating you, or that's off, or whatever. Don't hold that shit in, man. Do not, because it's gonna come out one way or the other. So it's best to come out the way that you know that is right. You know what I'm saying? But that's pretty much the point, man. This video about to be 40 minutes long. But that's pretty much it, man. I was just going through the spirit, man. Just pretty much I ain't think it's gonna turn into a testimonial video. But I love testimonies, so Salakia, if I kind of get lost in stories and shit, I like to tell stories. I like to listen to stories. So, Lord willing, hopefully it was edifying. Just identifying certain brothers that you're gonna see in this walk of faith. You're gonna see all kinds of different brothers. You're gonna see off brothers. You're gonna see good, righteous brothers, faithful brothers. You're gonna see some brothers that so-called brothers, but straight up niggas. And you just gotta be careful. You just gotta take heed of your friends, take heed of the people around you, and don't just think because a nigga got a garment and fringes on that he just, he says shalom, or shalom, and especially a fucking woman. Don't be deceived by that shit, man. Just because they say all that doesn't mean they truly about this, man. You know what I'm saying? The only thing we can really do is try our best to prove our friends, to test each other, and just to see how we are. But we really truly ain't gonna truly know until the big test, the MOTB comes. Then we gonna really know who's who. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, hopefully that was edifying. We give our praises and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua, B'Shem HaKadosh. The balance of the process of GMS Ruel. So I'm to the faithfulness. Continue doing the work of the Lord. So that I'm gonna say shalom.